So why are some people happier than others? Let's find out why and how you can be too. Let's get into it right now. What's up, congratulators? I'm Xavier Garcia. This is the Ultimate Psychology channel. Welcome. Today we're going to be talking about the pursuit of happiness. What is the pursuit of happiness? When did we first hear this? What is this all about? Well, it's kind of common sense, right? We're going after our happiness. But basically the term that it got most famous for, if it was not the first time it was ever said or not, but it's most famous for is in our Constitution, the United States of America's Constitution. And in it, the writer wrote that, and I'm paraphrasing here a little bit, but that God the Creator endowed us with these inalienable rights. That means that they're just naturally given common sense rights that we as human beings have. And that's the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So this is a right that's fundamental, especially by the colonists and the founding fathers there. People died for this right, and they have died for it, and they'll continue to fight for this freedom, not a freedom that's given to us by man, but that's given to us by God, our Creator. They have died for it, and they'll continue to die for it in defense of it, for your freedom and for your right to pursue your happiness. This is your birthright, to pursue happiness, that you live in America or wherever you're living. I don't know, God bless your country, that you can have a free country like this, a free democracy, a republic that we have, that you can pursue happiness and nothing standing in your way. And life does have its challenges, but it's your destiny and it's your birthright to fulfill your potential here in life. Well, you got it. So let's talk about, before we get into pursuing this nebulous thing, what is happiness, right? Is it a box of chocolates? I know a lot of women would think so, or a bunch of shoes, different shoes. One of my first definitions of happiness for me that I've experienced, I'll see a bunch of license plates or, the borders behind license plates or even t-shirts. Happiness is being a grandmother or something like that. But the first time that I felt happiness, whether that's important to you or not, is, I remember it was tough for me to make ends meet and trying to make sure that I had my 3 squared meals a day. And I remember, either going to my uncle's house or somewhere, and I had a great big meal. And, I was like, happiness is a full belly, is a full stomach of food. And that's when it was really mattered to me, it was really important. But I also like to tell people at work, or I don't know when you're watching this, but when I had a 9 to 5, or presently right now, I'll be at work and I serve pizzas, and so people will come in and they'll have different options at different stalls, different stations to choose what kind of food they want, and they'll kind of come over and they're kind of like, I guess I'll get this choice. It's not the healthy choice. I said, hey man, don't worry about it. Happiness is healthy, and I like to tell people that, if you're gonna have something that's not the healthiest, be guilt-free about it and enjoy it. Be stress-free, because ultimately, being stress-free is happiness, right? But we do want to get into some technical things about, what is ultimate happiness and what is true happiness. I mean, we don't want fake happiness, we want real happiness. And so if something's harming us, anytime, if you say you want a release of stress, yeah, it might feel good to break up with your girlfriend or just storm out the house with your wife or something like that and have this temporary release of pain. But if at the end of the day, if it's because you're quitting on something that matters or that's really important or that's valuable to you in your life, that's going to be a short burst of pleasure or happiness, but it's not true happiness. And we have to go above and beyond that for the bigger value, the greater happiness, the one that's for the greater good. Happiness is not your comfort zone. And you're unique. Your happiness is going to be different for everyone, because your potential is different than everyone. So, your potential, your happiness is kind of basically what your gift is to humanity, to the world. It's not doing drugs, whether that might feel great for a little while, because basically at the end, that's gonna bring you and pull you down. So I want to make the distinction between a healthy happiness, which is the true happiness, and that kind of happiness that comes from not living up to your highest values, your morals, or your principles. So the happiness that we seek is a happiness that makes God happy. So we might not be able to find out exactly how to define happiness, but some of the things that we can know is about fulfilling our fullest potential. And that's the happiness that we want to pursue in life. at the end of the, we want to be able to say like, I died a happy man, or that we fulfilled our potential. So we might not know exactly what it is, but we know to start going in that direction. So for some practical tips that we need to start, and this does take some cultivating, some discipline. And that's one of the hardest things to do. We want to think that happiness is just going to come from being lazy and doing nothing, and it's not. It'll lead you down the road to hell. Okay, so in the very beginning, so like if you're going to start your day, for a practical tip, it does take discipline, because the first part of your day is called the rudder of the day, right? It's your golden hour of the day. And since your mind is the most fertile and it's the most freshest, it's the most primed for putting in positive information, we want to take advantage of that time. So, but it does take the first initial discipline, and it's not going to be easy at first, and it's going to take strength to build up this discipline muscle. And what's the discipline for? It's the kind of discipline where you start developing gratitude, even if it's just the practice of saying, thank you for this day. Thank you, God. I feel so happy to be alive. This is going to be a great day. You start pumping yourself with these kinds of affirmations. You start feeding yourself with those positive mental protein, right? Whether you're going to read a solid book, reading the Bible, or reading positive literature, even going on social media, and if you follow positive professional speakers, motivational speakers, their Instagram posts or whatnot, what have you, so that you can feed your mind with positive images, positive quotes, positive sayings, so those things are buzzing in your head to start your day. And those are the first things that you're going to build the foundation of your day on. So I highly recommend, setting it up the night before, how you're going to start your day, and developing that discipline. And you might get on track for a little while and you might fall off. It's okay. Don't beat yourself up. You need plenty and lots of grace for these habits to form and to take shape. Even if you want to set up a Pinterest account, right? And you have your happy board, your all the things. If you have a vision board, that's great. You can have on the wall, first thing you see in the morning up there. Or if you have even on, like a Pinterest board, and you can go to it and you can look at all the things, your goals that you want to achieve, and you're looking at, and these are the things that are going to make you happy. And I'll get into present time happiness and also the happiness in the future, but things that are going to make you happy, that you want to draw and attract into your life, and that you want to pursue towards. Because happiness is something that is either self-generated or something that you have to go out and get. It just doesn't happen and fall in your place, just magically like that. So you're getting up in your day now, and we want to expect the best from the day. Expect from the day and from your life, okay? Because we're trying to get to this place where we feel that we've arrived. I've arrived. I'm here. This is who I came to be, and that's the place we want to get to. And you can achieve it. You can get here. You can get to that place, but we can't get there if we don't expect for it to happen. If we never give it a try. If we never pursue it in the first place. So have a big vision and begin to write these things out on paper. What would your life look like ideally in every way? What are the things that you like to achieve? Who do you want to be? What would it look like, right? The kind of lifestyle you want to live, the person you want to be, and the things that you want to do. The kind of relationships you want to have, the experiences you want to create, and the memories that you would like to have and to hold and take with you for the rest of your life. And you have to be crystal clear on these things, but you don't have to be super crystal clear, because the whole point is for you to start moving in your life. You have a natural sense, a natural intuition of where it's at. And it is a mystery for a while, and you're kind of looking for it. You try this, you dabble with this, you dabble with that. No, that's not it, that's not it. And you continue to kind of whittle down like a sculptor breaks down a masterpiece. So it will be a natural evolution, but it just doesn't take place by itself. If you put a boat out into the water, it just drifts. And it won't take you to your destination. It's highly unlikely that's going to happen. So you have to be thinking, positively minded, happiness minded, that I'm going to start pursuing my happiness because everyone else is achieving it. There's a lot enough other people that they can do it. If they can do it, I can do it too. And this should come very naturally to us. Like I said, with the intuition part, if you plant a flower, what does it naturally do? It naturally blooms. It naturally reaches for the sunlight. It actually drinks in the sun, and actually, it has its mouth open or whatever for water to rain. That's what it naturally does. And this is the life course that your life path is on, is to come to that, come to full fruition and to bloom. So this is going to require you to do some hard things, because you're going to have to level up. You're going to have to experience some growth, and any type of growth, there's some growing pains. And it is fun learning. There is the joy of the process, and the majority is the process, because some people can reach their state of happiness at a very young age, but sometimes they don't get it until later in life. And it really doesn't matter, because your life is unique. So don't compare your success or your happiness when you've achieved it to everyone else, because yours is a beautiful story. It's unique, and it's meant to be unique, and it's meant to be different. So don't compare or judge. Just go after it and start pursuing it. So we must do hard things. Happiness is responsibility, and gaining and growing in responsibility, the more that you can add to your life and take on more and more and grow into greater responsibility, so you can reach and come to this full maturity. But you'll grow into that, and with that more muscle, the happiness muscle, and just the maturityness, you'll grow into it. So don't be overwhelmed or overburdened by it, overloaded by it. It's not going to topple you over. Even if it does, you'll learn from that, and life will give you, God will give you some more time to continue working on that, because ultimately He's in charge and He's in control, and He does want your happiness for you. So you're going out there doing the biggest, hardest things to remove these blocks, whether they're negative beliefs or life circumstances. You want to finish graduating college or high school. You want to, get that job promotion. And like, as I mentioned earlier, happiness is not always in the future. There is a state of being where you get to, no matter what's going on in my life, I'm happy. My life is good. Whether I improve and I make that $1 million or not, like, I'm happy and I'm content, and I can die a happy man. But in the process of growing in our happiness, like the Constitution says, it talks about not only just creating a perfect union, but creating a more perfect union and healthy things want to grow, and we want to get healthier, we want to get happier, we want to look more beautiful. These are things that we naturally do. It has nothing to do with vanity or anything negative like that. We're constantly wanting to grow and expand as human beings to reach our fullest potential. So go all in about achieving your potential and experiencing all the happiness that you can experience. And again, this is positive, authentic, genuine happiness. Happiness that has meaning, meaningful contribution, meaningful impact. That's the ultimate happiness. So we're going to go into, we have big happiness stuff like the job promotion, getting married, having that marriage, raising that child, being able to do those pull-ups or whatever goals that you have for yourself. There's the big things, the life events that we have, but then there's also the little day-to-day tasks. Whether it's, enjoying a nice little meal with the family at the end of the day, or just even being thankful that you can brush your teeth, that they can last. There's small happinesses, there's big happinesses, and all throughout there's a current of happiness that runs through your life. Call it God, call it grace, call it what you want, but like Bob Marley says, I'm happy inside all of the time. Maybe my singing's not all that great, but you want to have that sense inside you, that everlasting peace. And I know for myself, my salvation in Jesus Christ, that's my ultimate happiness, because whether I kind of complete my obligations here on earth, I have a heaven waiting for me. And that's something to look forward to. That doesn't mean I shirk my responsibilities here on earth, but that I know at the end of the day, I do have a final resting place, and that happiness, heaven, is my final resting place. So I do want to make a distinction here, because I'm not always happy-go-lucky. My heart is not always singing with joy, and I'm handing out the sunshine. Sometimes I'm in a deep reflective mood. I'm doing some deep thinking. I'm being introspective, and I'm deep in emotions. And because life is multidimensional, so it's not always one thing. So yeah, I have that happiness inside of me, and I'll have people come up to me like, "What's wrong, X? What's wrong? You okay? What's going on?" And I'm like, oh, nothing. I was just kind of like, I was in a mood. I'm solving a problem right now. I'm working, my gears are grinding, and they're going through this process, but that doesn't mean I'm not happy. So don't be quick to judge yourself or other people if you don't have this, cheerful face, all the time. Because happiness is also internal, and we have to have our focus in someplace. Sometimes my happiness is boxing, going up against a punching bag, but that's an aggressive mode. That's an aggressive state of mind. But I'm happy doing that. I like doing that. Even when my face is scowling, I'm like, I love that kind of stuff. But that's a happiness for me. So happiness can have different looks on the outside. So don't be so critical. He doesn't look so happy, but so let's not judge that. And I just want to make that distinction, that happiness is not always la ta di, la ta da, picking flowers all the time, and that wouldn't be real anyways. It wouldn't be real anyways. So just keep that in mind. So back to some more practical stuff, because I like to make the distinction of happiness is of the mind, joy is of the spirit, and pleasures of the body. And so about the physical side of happiness is we actually have a brain, right? And this brain is like it's a chemical factory, and it produces serotonin, it produces dopamine, it produces all these these chemicals that run through your body, that course through your body, and it just feels good and it feels great. So we want to activate this to make sure that our brain is healthy, so that the rest of our body can function well. So we want to eat healthy foods, a healthy diet. We want to avoid junk foods, because although that might provide a temporary higher happiness, that's not going to be sustaining happiness with strength. We want to eat things like bananas, have food with high in vitamin C, having good healthy protein diets so that our bodies are operating at full strength. I also hear that avocados are good for you, almonds are great for you. Staying hydrated so that way you're not all sluggish, and you might be good inside, but if your body's deteriorated or breaking down and it's not supplying you with energy, it's hard to be operating as your optimal self. You do want to get exercise, because exercise also produces this surge through your body, the energy, the feel-good chemicals, the feel-good beams and feel-good vibes that allow you to feel at your best and to be operating and be buzzing on a physical level, not just on a mental level of happiness. And this also takes you back to having the discipline to do this, because if you're not going to put in the work, then you're not going to get the results. And I'm sorry, and there's just no other way. And that's why some people quit and they go doing the cheap way, taking drugs or whatnot, because they're not really ready to do the real man work to produce real happiness. So it's not meant for everybody. But hopefully, if you're watching this, you're willing to do that and step up. Another physical thing that we need to do, and which we have to set a discipline for, is to get great quality of sleep. So I don't know how many hours your body needs, but it's going to be anywhere from 6 to 8 hours of sleep. So you get that full rest and that full beauty sleep for your life to restore itself, to regenerate, renew, and recharge for the next day for you to hit it, so you can go back after your goals, which is going to produce more happiness, and that you can get your ultimate happiness. And you need to establish these goals as habits every single day. You can also listen to great music, find a great playlist that produces these sounds, whether it's driving in your car or playing in your house while you're cleaning the house, that we can kill two birds with one stone, have feel good vibes and have a house cleaning party, a Marie Kondo, what would you call it, a clutter-free marathon, right? Get rid of all that junk. You want to organize your life, whether it be your workstation, clean, happy, it sparks joy. Your home, you want it to spark joy. So that way your whole universe and your environment looks good. A happy house, a clean house is a happy house. And this is the way you want to take care of these things. It does take responsibility. It takes discipline. But when you're cultivating that gratitude, you're going to want to take care of these things. You're going to want to take care of your relationships, because they're the most important things to us in our lives. You want to make sure you have a happy wife so that you can have a happy life. Because if she's not happy, ain't nobody happy, right? And this is our responsibility, especially as men and women, for you to take care of yourself so that you can be your best to support your husbands. And so when you're doing this, and even speaking words of affirmation over your life, like, I feel happy, I feel healthy, I feel terrific. I'm the happiest man on earth, right? I get that from Disney World, Disneyland, happiest place on earth. I'm the happiest man on earth. When you start saying these things, your body starts vibrating. And this is even science now. You can look at your blood cells. We've seen things with the law of attraction, and you can speak to water molecules, and they crystallize and they have more beautiful shapes, because words give life or they bring death. So speak life over yourself. Tell yourself what's the truth about yourself, regardless of what other people say. And if they want to say good things about you, take those in as well and discard the rest. And also being happy for other people and building other people up. It's reciprocal. You get what you give. If you're building other people up, you're putting this out into the universe, you're going to get it back. Whether it's directly back from that person or those people, you'll get it back in some way, shape, or form, because that's just the law of compensation. So as we focus on others, we start knowing that there's another high that comes into our lives, and this high of giving. It's called helper's high. And when we put others first, we're being of service. It causes us to grow. we feel new, greater levels of happiness. Because if we're just focused on ourselves, it's going to limit our potential, and we want to grow to our fullest capacity. And on the flip side, the extreme side of that, where we see if we're always making people happy and not just ourselves, we can see what happened with Robin Williams. He took his own life because he was solely focused on making other people happy, and he did it in the most beautiful way, and an exemplary way. He's a role model for making other people happy in that way, as a comedian and with his humor. But at the same time, we also don't want to forget to fill up our own tank, and I see that in other people as well. So let's try not to make that mistake. We want to give to others and give to ourselves, and give to others. We want to have both of these at work, both of these in play. And so last but not least, for a practical habit, practical tip, I've kind of developed this because I used to drive sometimes a lot. I know I drove out to Indiana once from San Diego, and I would just drive up and down the coast of California, and you have traffic and you can have all these things, and your face starts making these weird tight faces because you're angry being in traffic. And I know our natural state from birth, being from a baby, is happiness. It's sheer bliss. And our face is always trying to go back into that happy place. We want to be happy. And so help it out and try to form that smile back on your face while you're driving. And you just start driving around pleasantly. And you start seeing things from, a rosy point of view. And it is a discipline. It is a habit that you have to create and develop. But you can get to it. And it becomes easier and easier to do. And some people don't want to associate with being happy. I know I used to have a negative belief that, if you look happy, people are going to be jealous of you. And that's going to be true. You're going to have haters out there. And I was scared to be happy because I thought if I was happy, they're going to be jealous of me. And if they're jealous of you, they're going to hurt me. I've continued to pursue my happiness, and I'm in a place now where my environment, my atmosphere, I can be free, I can be happy without people harming me. And you're always going to have these slings and arrows because that's just the way of the world. There's snakes in paradise. But you can live confidently, you can live boldly, and you can step into your happiness. So I encourage you to do this. Get your happiness, and you can live a life happily ever after. This is Xavier Garcia, and I'll see you on the next video. Until then, love with freedom. Thank you very much.